Hello everyone and welcome to the void between reality and the land of heckin' nerds. My name is Brian, aka He of the Void, and today we're going to be taking a look at 3 Neca Aliens figures from their Alien vs. Predator arcade game line. The Arachnoid alien, Chrysalis alien, and the Razor Claw alien. One thing before we start, you are seeing this video on a Monday, which means that I've decided to up my video schedule to Mondays and Fridays just because I want to have some more content on the channel for you guys, and I'm actually enjoying what I'm doing, you know. So strike while the iron is hot, I suppose. So these guys, as I said, are based off of 3 of the enemies from the 1994 Aliens vs. Predator arcade game. Now, these guys are the movie deco versions, meaning that they lack the cell shading of the original versions of these figures. There was a video game accurate version of these figures. I was unable to get those, but from what I've seen, they look a lot better. But they're interesting. And unfortunately, I think they're starting to show the age of the mold of the original NECA Xenomorph mold. Especially Miss Razor Claw alien over here, but we will get to her in a moment. Oh boy, this figure needs help. So we'll just scoot these lovely ladies off to the side so that we can take a look at the first one, the Chrysalis alien. This is definitely my favorite of the 3. Primarily just because I love this head crest. This is sort of reminiscent of what would later be called the Praetorian Guard alien, where they would have a more pronounced crest, that's what I'm looking for, crest, to basically say, hey, I'm next in line to the throne, so to speak, of the alien queen. And yeah, I really like that head crest. So apparently these guys, all of these guys were in the game were lab engineered to fulfill different roles, and this guy was sort of the heavy defense, or this lady was the heavy defense ones. And also they have, this one has a gimmick where if you can just get that little part up, you can actually extend the neck, and then they have the inner jaw so they can do what was called a double head bite, which I do think is cool. And you can get a look at that sort of skeletal face in there, which I really, really like. Let me just put that back in there to get that sort of hammerhead bonk sort of look. As you might be able to tell, some of these joints are a little loosey-goosey, and this is a theme through all 3 of the figures. Unfortunately, of course you're going to stand perfectly, as I'm about to say how you really need a stand for you. We'll just move this back a little bit so you can get a better look. But yeah, you can tell she is a little loosey-goosey, but she is still posable. As you saw, the head is on a ball joint, but it is kind of limited what you can do because the crest will bump up against things. Ball joint, or no, swivel and hinge at the shoulder, double elbow, and hip is on a ball joint and hinge, double knee, and then some foot articulation. You can sort of ankle pivot, and then toe articulation there. So she is posable. Oh, and of course the tail, more of a bladed tail for this one, and it is on a bendy wire, so you can get some pretty natural arcs and poses, and it's also on a swivel here. But yeah, this is my favorite of the 3, just aesthetic wise. But as I said, you can definitely tell that there's mold degradation here. So basically, for anyone that's new to toy collecting, mold degradation means a mold has been reprinted or repurposed to the point where it's starting to get long in the tooth and it's starting to break down in stability and in durability. You see this a lot with Hasbro toys, with Transformers, where the mold just goes really floppy after a while with just endless repaints. And this mold, I want to say has well over 30 different uses. And you can just kind of tell that maybe it's either time to update this mold somehow or retire this mold and create a new version of it. Because you can definitely tell that there is some mold degradation. So next, we'll just plug her back into her stand and bring in the Arachnoid alien. This is the sturdiest of the three, which is why it's only got a little base stand, just a peg stand. We'll take her off so you can see her. You can see her her head. I really do like this more insectoid looking head. Really leads credence to the idea that this is more of a bug version of the Xenomorph. So basically in the game, these were the stealth sort of hunter aliens where they could basically lay still for hours in a ball, or like curl up and lay still for hours waiting for their opponent or their target. So she does have the opening mouth and the inner jaw, like all alien figures should. Same posability as this one, so I'm not really gonna, or as the other one, so I'm not really gonna go too far into the posability. Her head is a bit more posable, can go all the way around just because she doesn't have the big crest. Her joints are, for the most part, at least in the shoulders, pretty tight, but as you can see, she does kind of flop around on the legs. But she does have, you know, the whole, actually it's more of a triple knee almost. Just because this one is supposed to be a lot more posable than, and, you know, be able to curl up than the others. And then give you a look at the tail. So yeah, that's the Arachnoid alien. All of these guys basically have the same posability, so I'm not going to linger on that too much, just so I don't repeat myself. And now we're going to bring in the problem child. We're going to bring in the Razor Claw alien. Oh my golly, this figure has problems. So we'll take it off the base, or the stand, and I'm just going to show you what the major problem is. See how floppy these joints are? Especially, like, there's no resistance in this knee. Like, look, I just flick it and it bends backwards. This figure is just in shambles. It cannot stand on its own. It cannot really do poses on its own. It really does need a stand. And I mean, I like the aesthetic of it. I love the big long claws. I love the big long head. These were sort of the berserker aliens in the game. Love the big segment, the big slicey tail. The dorsal fins are really cool. It's just, this figure is a mess. And plus, her claws are so malformed. Like, look at how easily these just bend over each other. I have tried giving this a bath of usually when you have bent soft rubber plastic like that, or softer plastic, you can basically dip these in hot water, let them sit for a minute, and then you can just remold or reposition them and then let them dry. This one, I have tried everything to fix these claws and it just doesn't work. I mean, just even as I'm just moving it, it's just flopping over. Now, let's be honest. I'm going to give Neca the benefit of the doubt. I could just have a lemon, okay? Oh, forgot to show you the opening mouth. Come on, give me the inner jaw. There you go. So yeah, she can do the head bite thing, and her jaw is really wide. It can go really open. I could have a dud. I could have a lemon. This could just be my version of this figure. You know, you have thousands of these figures coming off of the assembly line every day. Sooner or later, you're going to get a dud. But the reason, you know, I'll give Neca the benefit of the doubt to a point. But when you have a mold that is as widely distributed as the Neca alien mold, the original Xenomorph mold, I feel like you're gonna get mold degradation the farther you go on. Now I give Neca all the credit in the world of being able to squeeze different characters out of a single mold, but sooner or later the mold's gonna go soft, and I really do believe that this gal is a victim of mold degradation. But yeah, like I said, generally same posability. I'm definitely not going into the posability on this thing because it is just a mess. So we will put her back on her stand just to help her out. Like I said, just under her own weight, her knees buckle. That's how you know that it's a problem when, you know, under her own weight, she just collapses. But yeah, those are the Neca Alien vs. Predator arcade game figures. Would I suggest any of these figures? The Chrysalis alien, I would suggest. I like the Chrysalis alien. The other two, no, I would not suggest the other two. While this one is the sturdiest, I think it's honestly the kind of boring, even though I do like it. You know, it's my second favorite of the trio. And then the Razor Claw alien, don't take a risk on just my figure being a dud. Just steer away from this thing so that you don't spend $30 just to get an absolute mess of a figure. So a little bit of a mixed bag on this one, but yeah, these are my other aliens from Neca. Definitely kind of cautious on getting any more of the aliens. There's one or two I kind of want from yesteryear, but if I find them, I'll probably get them. But I might be done with the Neca alien mold until I see some progress with either there being upgrades to the mold or just a new mold altogether. So yeah, there you go. Asking you as always to like, comment, and subscribe. And remember, growing old is mandatory. Growing up is optional. Be curious, be playful, and above all else, be kind. I will see you next time.